Could you be a bit loud, please? We're receiving
Okay.
comments from
How about now?
our
Is
listeners.
it better?
Yeah, it's better. And even I would request all
It's
the
better.
attendees to raise their speaker volume. It's good now.
It's good now, right? Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So let me ask you guys. Just raise your hands. That let us assume a case study out here that somebody wants to roll out an UI automation framework. And at a bigger picture, what are the things that you can think about? First, of course, the tool and okay. The tool and maybe the usage of the tool, correct? How many of you say that this is it? Means if I get a control of the tool, my framework is done. Means I will develop some coding patterns and then we are all good to start using it. How many of you say that? Raise your hands. Okay. I can't see the hands there, Mohini. Is there any problem with it? Hello.
A few hands raised for this question.
Okay.
I can see 4 or 5 hands
Okay.
raised.
Okay. So let me just go through the flow rather than asking you in the interest of time and taking the account of the technical limitation out here. One, of course, identification of tool is very critical. But how do we identify tool if we are thinking about a testing framework? That depends on what kind of a technology that the application is using. For an example, let me tell you some real-time cases. If you are working with Oracle, an Oracle application has a different technology layer. Every tool cannot identify that technology layer. So therefore, you will have to check out that which technology layer, which tool actually maps up to at that present scenario. A few of the most famous ones would be QTP and maybe Selenium, but then how effective are those? So of course, identification of tool and what is that coding or the programming language that that tool uses. That certainly is one of the most critical things, but that is just if in today's view you have to take into account that is just 20 to 30% of the task of understanding framework architecture. What next? Let us ask a question to ourselves that once I have identified a tool and let us say that I have developed a very excellent coding standards around it, then where will I store my results? So let us say I store my results at specific place. Now, where will it get stored? Now, when it is getting stored, how it will be segregated? That is, I have identified a tool, I want to store my results, but then before storing results, where am I using it? Is it that it's having a multiple browser compatibility? Is it that my scripts can run on different browsers? If yes, then will the segregation be there in test management tool? So one integration that the tool that you identify and the code that you have developed should have an integration to support multiple browser supports. Second, it should also have the possibility and the feasibility to support multiple operating systems. Now, once you have this identified, then you would say that, okay, I have one test management tool, but then how will my automation tool or the test harness interact with that test management? Because ideally they are two different softwares. So therefore, you will have to have APIs into place which actually will integrate with the third-party softwares. Now, is this enough as a framework? Looks good, but then in today's world, this is not enough. With so much of competition around, everybody wants their product to be released as early as possible. if the development time is 6 months, everybody wants that after development is over, maybe within a month of bug fixing, all testing should be done parallelly. So how can that be achieved? The only way to achieve is that we have a predictable code lines which runs daily, nightly, every single minute on every new build. And until and unless that is not achieved, no senior level management will approve that as a holistic framework. So what we need to do for that? We need to have certain APIs, as you can see it here on the screen. Let me highlight it. This is a spotlight I'm giving it to you, that this particular is a AND target which I'm proposing that one will have to develop in order to kick off the files wherever they are. And this is a software which is known as TeamCity Agent, which houses all your scripts, and an automatic trigger happens here. So therefore, if you'll see it into entirety now, you have a tool, you develop scripts, you make them compatible with multiple browsers, and the same script is compatible with multiple operating systems. It is stored somewhere on the server, and some AND targets trigger those scripts at specific time zone. This software runs it sequentially, parallelly, in whatever fashion you want to put it, and publishes the result back to the test management tool. So what it means is that an engineer enters the office and just triggers this AND target. All other things are being taken care automatically. This is the definition that organizations are looking for in today's world. Now, what does it mean for an engineer? Or an engineer, I remember about 10 years back, it was primarily this area that a testing engineer used to be comfortable with, that I design scripts and I'm done. But today, the automation group is not scripting group. It's infrastructure development group as well. Because if you want to integrate with various softwares, you need to have development background. And therefore, one takeaway here is that since you understand what global organizations demand, and especially let me name a few: Oracle, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, CA, EA Sports, all these leaders in their own space, they demand such expertise from an individual who are coming into the automation unit. So maybe I'll take a pause here just to understand that, do you understand what organizations are looking at when we say that I am good at automation framework design and development? You can just put yes or no out there, or maybe you can raise hand. Okay. Can you see hands getting raised, Mohini?
I can see them getting raised. We have
Okay,
a few rains as now.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not being able to see the hands getting raised in my screen. I don't know why.
In the attendee list.
Okay. So good. So this is something which is pretty much. Sorry.
The hands being raised are shown there.
Are you saying something?
Yeah, I'm saying that you can see the hands being raised in the attendee list.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so now let's move ahead. So you understand what automation framework in today's world needs, and at the same point in time, this is a live example of one of the implementations in Fortune 500 company. Not one, it certainly exists now in at least 5 of the Fortune 500 companies which are around nearby in India. So now you understand that if you have to prepare yourself, how and where you need to go into now. And this is a real-time framework which I'm showcasing to you. Going to the next slide, now let's understand the different dimension. If you would observe in the last slide, which is pretty much visible here, we have used an open source.